Hey, you beautiful souls. So you're doing it. You have realized that you are attached to someone or something in a way that it is causing limited growth or preventing self-love or causing resistance in magnetizing to you the things that you want. So today we're going to talk about how to detach so that you can have that ultimate freedom to build that bright, beautiful life that you desire. So we're going to jump in here and we're going to talk about what attachment is, the benefits of detaching, and then how to actually detach in order to have that freedom, that self-growth, that self-love, so that you can magnetize to you anything that you desire and build the life that you want. So to anybody who's never been here before, hi, I'm Elizabeth Blackwell, and I spent well over a decade so that I could help others heal and find their highest and greatest selves. So let's jump into what attachment is and how to detach in order to build that bright, beautiful life that you desire. So let's start with what attachment is. Attachment is when we connect or desire something so significantly that it changes or influences our thoughts and our behaviors around that thing. And the example that I have given previously is it's kind of like a balloon that if we try to hold on to that so tightly, no longer is it this bright floating representation of joy, but it's in our hands and we can start to actually distort what its original form and shape was. And then if we grip onto it too tightly, that we can actually pop that balloon and we ruin what its original form was, and we can no longer have it for what we originally wanted it for. Attachment can lead to all sorts of emotional stress and negative impacts on us. But really what attachment comes down to is when we are looking for external validation, either from a person in believing that we are good enough or desirable enough to be with them, or in the form of we need an external validation by having something to prove to the rest of the world that we are good enough or whatever. And when we attach our happiness to something external to us, it leaves us very vulnerable to disappointment and pain. And it significantly limits our ability for self-growth and self-love. And then when it comes to manifestation or drawing the things to us that we desire, attachment causes a lot of resistance because it triggers our anxiety and fear. It causes triggers our limiting beliefs. And at its core, it focuses on the not having or the lack of something, causing us to have more of not having whatever that thing is. And I just had to call out here, by no means am I offering any form of judgment if you have found yourself attached or even obsessive over someone or something. I tend to be a fairly extreme person. And so when I start to focus on something, that I have to be careful not to overly attach or become obsessive with it. Usually for me, it's about doing something, being something, creating something. But there are many times where I've had to tell myself, stop, you are now deforming this from what its original purpose was in your life. So let's talk about some of the benefits of detaching. And the first thing that I want to talk about here is that detachment is not a lack of caring or a needing to drop that person or that thing. Not at all. Detachment is more about when you unhook your reliance on that person or that thing for your happiness and your fulfillment. If you've stuck with me so far, consider subscribing, because I put out content all the time on how to heal, grow, and magnetize to you that bright, beautiful life that you're looking for. And if this video is serving you, consider hitting that like button as well, because it really does help out to get this content out to other individuals as well. There are so many benefits to detachment. We're going to focus on my big three. And the first of which is when we detach from someone or something, that it allows us to take our focus on whatever that external thing is and allows us to refocus on ourselves. Again, it's not that you no longer care about this thing or this person, but you are no longer prioritizing whatever that is or whoever that is above yourself. You're able to take that energy and refocus it on you, your emotional balance, your self-loving practices, which will ultimately lead to a severe reduction in anxiety, bringing you much more inner peace. Which leads me to my second big benefit, which is it will give you so much more freedom when you let go of something. That it is so liberating when we finally detach from something and let it be whatever its original form is. That it will give you much more flexibility because you won't be so focused on that one thing, and it leaves you open to be more adaptable and have change within that area. But it also will give you so much more clarity around that thing or that person as well, especially when it comes to being attached to an individual. When we become attached to them, we are essentially putting them on a pedestal. And it comes back to that deforming what its original state was, that we only see the best of their qualities, and we're not seeing them for who they truly are. So when we detach, then we can fully see who an individual is and what their real form is, that we don't gloss over things and we can see who they are deep down. And then the third big benefit of detaching is it helps to magnetize to us the things that we desire, because we are letting go of so much resistance. We are letting go of that fear and anxiety that surround that situation. Or letting go, excuse me, of that idea of lack or not having something. And then when it comes to an individual, you can focus on genuine connection instead of that neediness or desire from what it is that you need out of that person. So let's talk about how we actually detach from something. Now, I did a video a while back that went into how to physically, emotionally, and spiritually detach from someone or something. And I will link that in a card above, the description box down below, as well as the video at the end of this. But let's jump into some other things that we can do that will help us to let go and detach of whatever we're attached on to. In that video, I go into more detail about letting go of trying to control that thing or that person. But for today, let's talk about shifting our mindset around whatever it is that we are attached onto. And so the first thing that I want you to shift is that there is nothing external to you that will truly allow you to be happy or fulfilled. That is not where true happiness and self-fulfillment comes from. That it can't come from an external source, but it has to come from within. Okay, so what does that really mean? Well, it means that you have to deeply understand yourself so that you can know what you need to do, be, create that will come from in you in order to bring that self-fulfillment and happiness. What passions do you have? Or what things bring you joy outside of this one particular thing that you have found yourself so attached to? You have to have that self-compassion and self-love. Now, my next video is going to be all about what self-love really is and how to cultivate it in your life. But my very abbreviated explanation is, what kindnesses can you offer yourself? And what is it that you need to bring about in your life in order to make sure your needs are being met on all levels, physical, emotional, and spiritual? My next big tip for detachment is to let go of the timing of things. That, again, when we detach, that doesn't mean that we are dropping this thing or this person, but we are letting go of trying to control it or them. So when you let go or detach from something, and then you have properly aligned who you internally are, then it tends to magnetize that thing back to you. But one of the big things that gets people caught up is they get impatient or want to try to control the timing on things, which again offers a lot of resistance. So when you have patience and you've detached and aligned yourself, knowing that what is meant to be will absolutely flow to you in the proper timing. And then my last big tip on how to detach is when you not only embrace, but get excited about the idea of change or new opportunities. That when we detach from things and let go, especially of that timing of things, that then things start to flow to us. And sometimes it's amazing that newer, better, different things will start to be magnetized to us. And I know a lot of times people get caught up, but I only want this one thing. Well, that's fine. You're letting go of the trying to control it. But in the meantime, you are being open to the idea of different and potentially better things starting to flow to you. And then I had to add in here, when we embrace new opportunities, it allows us to sometimes upgrade or grow or learn new things as we're allowing that original thing to flow back to us. So I'm going to link here my original video on how to let go physically, emotionally, and spiritually in order to detach from whatever it is that you are holding on to. So with that, I am sending you all so much light and love, and I hope you all stay well, my friends.